Hello guys and welcome to Final Fantasy Fridays episode 18 today on the 31st of May 2013. Now we're moving on to June very soon, and as we all know this is the prime time for gaming, E3 and all that. I'm really excited for that, and also moving up in terms of, you know, holidays and such coming back. You know, it's going to be fun. Holidays aren't yet, still got another 4 weeks till they go, but still looking forward to them. Maybe not 4 weeks, it's like 3 or something, but you know. But don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you guys. So I have some very saucy FF news to cover today. The first of all is just a little rumour that has been floating around the internet toilet for a while. Is that as we know, Square Enix plan to release a Fabula Nova Crystallis, or Final Fantasy 13 full pack or full collection, which will contain 13, 13.2 and Versus. Now, nothing has been said about Type-0 being thrown in there, but it has been sort of floating about that they're deciding either to do a port or it's going to be an added extra. Now, if they do a port for the PS3, this is going to... well, we're going to have to wait even longer to see it. Otherwise, they could have been working on this port right now. I will come more to this topic later because there's another piece of news that sort of ties in with this. So we'll come back to this later, but just, you know, keep that in your mind because we're going to come back to it. Okay, this next piece of news kind of charmed me a bit, you know, that's nostalgia. But a new quote-unquote Final Fantasy 9 side quest has been discovered. Now, after 13 years, someone has just found this quest. I will put a link to the description about how you do it and all that, what you need to do. It's called the Lost Zero family, I believe, something along those lines. It's about a family. Now, the quest sort of starts off normal, everybody's done that, but there is a way to develop it further and get into this other quest, and you get a protector ring for completing it as well, so definitely go check that out. Dust off Final Fantasy 9 and go play it and finish this quest. So, we have a release for you guys. Final Fantasy Tactics S has been released in Japan. Now, apparently it's good, that's all I've really got to go on, but it's supposed to be the last of the Square Enix social game reel, which they've been doing for a long time now. People are getting fed up, they're wanting to start focusing on real, proper games. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. I won't do a review or anything of it, because I don't live in Japan, but still, yay, there we are. Okay, now this is the piece of news that was going to tie in with the first thing I spoke about. Now, back in the olden days of Final Fantasy 13, when it just sort of started out, Final Fantasy Type-0 was originally supposed to be called Final Fantasy Agito 13. Now, they were supposed to tie in with Eresis if that was going to be a real thing, and we know that Melody was just a rumour, but Eresis could still be out there somewhere. But Final Fantasy Agito 13 was Type-0 as we know it today. Agito means movement in Latin, roughly means movement. But yes, this was announced a while back, and then it got changed just to our Eastern release for Type-0. But Square Enix has re-registered the trademark for Final Fantasy Agito. Not Final Fantasy Agito 13, just Final Fantasy Agito. Now, this can be a possible of two things. This can be a PS3 Western port, or just a Western release of Final Fantasy Type-0, or it can be the name for the new game they're going to be premiering at E3. Now, if it is the name of the new game they're premiering at E3, it's most likely going to be part of Fabula Nova Crystallis, so they wouldn't have this big deal about it, or that they're starting to, this will be the next in the big canon, Final Fantasy 15. Now, this is just speculation, but it's confirmed that they have re-registered the trademark. No one's had any word from them back yet. So we just need to still wait until we get this whole, you know, basis of the idea of them re-trademarking it. I think they could do more with it. Like, if it isn't Type-0 a port or a Western release, I think they could still do more. Like, I think they've got lots of ideas for Final Fantasy Fabula Nova Crystallis still there, and they could obviously use more stuff to put in because they haven't got that much. But still, yeah, it's looking good for Square Enix right now. In fact, no, it's not. It's looking terrible. But still, their ideas and all that are going pretty well. Well, the basis of them. 13, 13.2 didn't do as great as they wanted them to. Oh, 13 did. 13 did because, well, no one really knew about it. But 13.2 didn't do as great. But it still got better reception as well, just by a couple of marks. But I still think Final Fantasy 13 and 13.2 are great games. You should definitely go pick them up, even if you're not a fan of Final Fantasy. You definitely go pick them up. So, Last piece of news for today is that the beta stage 3, which is coming mid-June, sorry, beta, not beta, the beta stage 3 for Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, will be coming to PS3 mid-June. Yes, you will be able to coincide with the PC releases as well for the PS3 and the beta testing. You can, like I put in the last episode, I believe it was, you can get a chance of being in the beta with your code you got at Final Fantasy 13. Definitely go get that, dish that out, and try and get a place in the beta. I'm just going to wait till it comes out. And it has been confirmed for me, because I don't really read up about it. It will be a pay to play, so you're going to have to pay to play it. Not a free to play as many people were hoping for, which they probably should do. It'll sell better if it's a free to play. So that's pretty much all the news we have for today. Now, I'm just going to get a little bit of debate going, because we haven't had a proper one in a while, and I want to know what you guys think. Out of old Final Fantasy and new Final Fantasy, which one prevails? Because me and my friend were talking about this the other day there, I think it was Thursday, of how rapidly it's changed from 12 onwards. Now there's it's sort of like Tomb Raider really. There's three generations to Final Fantasy. You've got the originals, you've got the ones in between, and you've got the new ones. And you're going to have the 4th gen for all these new Final Fantasy games that are coming out, new ones. Same as Tomb Raider, it's got like 4 gens of the originals, spin-offs, then those horrible Underworld, whatever they were. Then you get the new ones, which I presume they're going to make fucking loads of sequels out of, because that game sold millions. It sold 1 million in the one night. That's fucking fantastic. The best game, I think it's the second best selling game this year, because Bioshock Infinite sold 4 million in a week or something like that. I don't know what it was, but that's been out for a month now, so God knows how many sales that has now. I don't think we're in the tens of millions, but it's definitely millions and millions. So yeah, I want to know what you guys think. Personally, I don't really like the war between old Final Fantasy and new Final Fantasy. I just like it being Final Fantasy, you know. I don't like people fighting over saying, oh, Final Fantasy 7 is much better than Final Fantasy 13, Tifa has big tits, Lightning doesn't. You know, these things are just stupid. I don't think it's like console wars. Like, we and my friends had a massive console war last night. It's PS4 versus Xbox One. And PS4 only had one backer, surprisingly. I think my friend group was the only people that really like the Xbox One. Everyone else fucking hates it. But I really like it, and I'm waiting to see what it does. But anyway, yeah, I don't think it's fair to do this between it, because granted, Square Enix has changed a lot. They went from Squaresoft to Square Enix just in that sort of year, you know, and people just say a name doesn't change much, but they've obviously got new production teams, new development, new writers and all that. Like, there's a big board of people that write it now, and that's fine. That's totally fine. But with Final Fantasy 12, they tried to make it something it's not. Like, you could easily, I think the completion for 100% of that is at least 200 or 300 hours into that game. Now that is a lot of hours. That is a hell of a lot of hours. Like, compared to some new games, like Bioshock Infinite is 10 hours long, but you can also stretch it out to 15 if you play the hardcore mode, or even 30 if you are that shit at the game. But these new kind of games, like Far Cry 3, that wasn't that long either. It was about 12 hours or something. And Heavy Rain, that isn't a long game either. You could finish that in the first hour because of all these endings and all that. You could get everyone killed in the first 2 hours or something like that. But yeah, I've even forgot what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, times in games. And Final Fantasy 13, that was a very long game. People say that started getting good 20 hours in, which I thought it was good from about 5 hours in. The first 5 hours were a bit, you know, slow and sloppy. You didn't really get to know what was going on, but then it got more and more better as it went on. I think that's about 40, maybe 35 hours long. You could easily stretch it out. But 13.2 is much shorter because it's all in one disc as well. But you also get this whole sort of aspect of free roam and all that. Lightning Returns is probably going to be quite large because it reminds me of Final Fantasy 12 a lot. Lightning Returns, because Final Fantasy 12 wasn't really a free roaming game, but it did have a massive world you could go and explore. And granted, it was linear sections you could do that in, but there's still massive places to explore with all these marks stuff and all that and everything. But to conclude with this episode of Final Fantasy Fridays, I think neither of them are better than each other. I think they are good as one big unit, and I think it should stay like that. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in on the 31st today. I hope you've had a lovely week, and I will see you all in June. Ciao!